from Godolphin, Australia. Jason Walsh joins us on the Sports Daily. Jason, good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time this morning.
Pleasure to be on with you guys. Good morning.
Good morning, Jason. We were just talking about the distance of the VRC Derby. Gaze had her say this morning. Is it something that consumes you, or is it just a matter of fact that it is 2,500 metres and you do with it as you do?
Yeah, it's in the calendar at that distance range, and it's on this Saturday. So, Look, we're... I think just listening to you there beforehand, it's a case of what's in the best interest of your animal, and some are suited to it and some aren't. You know, we've run quite a lot of placings in the race. We're yet to win one. We've had our fair share of challenges coming out of the race, so they're not decisions that you take lightly. But there'll be a winner there on Saturday, and we're hoping it's us.
What goes into the decision to having Observer run in the Victoria Derby this Saturday?
I'd say probably the biggest factor is the way he's bred. He's by a world champion, 1.5 mile horse in Gaiath. And when we brought him down to stand at stud in Australia, it was with a view to hopefully producing prospects that would get out over ground. And he's quite stout on his female side as well. Observer, with his mother, a full sister to Piero. So that gives you some confidence that he's capable at that distance range. And certainly the run he put forward on Saturday in the Vase suggests that there's every reason to be confident.
And Jason, not only that run in the Vase on Saturday when he was throttled down late by Mark, all three runs this time in have been high class.
They have, yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to see him tested in the Guineas, but he certainly gave the impression he would have challenged there. He's a horse that we've had a lot of time for, and going back to his maiden victory on a Wednesday at Sandown where he hacked up, he's shown himself to be a quality colt throughout his training to this point. As I say, with the way he's bred in mind, just excited about getting him out in trip, and the more he matures, I don't doubt for a minute the best is still ahead of him.
Is the 7-day backup going to suit him?
Yeah, there's every reason to think it will. We've had this plan in mind for him from the start of the preparation if he were ready and able. So you saw Mark Zara throttled down late there in the piece with a view to 7 days' time, but probably his best attribute as a racehorse is his mind. He's very straightforward, and riders love being on his back because he's just so quiet and relaxed, and that'll probably be a key on Saturday, getting him to settle in the first part of the race. But there's every reason to think that he should retain his form.
Jason, I know it's only early into the next week, but what does this week look like for Observer?
Yeah, he'll be having an easy enough time at Cranbourne there with Kieran's team. Obviously, having raced on Saturday, there's not a lot required ahead of this Saturday. I'm sure he'll stretch his legs probably in the latter part of the week, just clear his wind out. But by all reports, he's come through the race very well. And as I say, his constitution and brain will, I'm sure, see him turn up at Flemington in great form.
The other horse going to the race is Options, is that right?
Options will be heading there too, yeah. And I wouldn't dismiss his chances either. He's another one who has had a Derby preparation in mind for the McAvoys since they tried him early on in the preparation, and he didn't have any luck there on Saturday. Came into the straight at Moonee Valley with a wall of horses in front of him, so he'll probably do a bit more this week just because they didn't feel he was fully tested there on Saturday, and he's a winner at Flemington, and the wide expanses there will suit him far better than Moonee Valley, so I think he's a genuine top 3 chance as well.
And he's always looked like a horse that the 2,000 and beyond might suit.
Yeah, which is interesting because on his stallion side, there's not a lot to recommend that, but again, there's some very, very good 1.5 mile horses in his female family. And certainly to feel that he's given the McAvoys in his training and his racing to date, they're very confident that he's been looking for a Derby. So, look, we're excited to give him his chance there. And as I say, as a previous winner at Flemington, that'll be to his benefit as well.
Have you got the right horses to be competitive and/or winning a Coolmore Stud Stakes, Jason?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. We've got 2 very high-class colts who are in great form, both of them. and I know that both training teams feel that they've got them exactly where they want them for a race that's really significant for our operation and the Australian breeding landscape more generally. So we're very excited to have two very good prospects ready to compete at the weekend.
Baywalk and Tentaris we speak of. Do you have a leaning one way or the other down the straight there at Flemington?
To be honest, I probably don't. I think there's not a whole lot between them. One, we expect Baywalk to be close to the speed, if not leading them up. And if he can put up his Golden Rose performance, which was utterly dominant, he will take all of the beating. And Tentaris is a horse that, he won the Todman so dominantly at 2 and unfortunately didn't get his chance in a Golden Slipper, but he's really prepped beautifully for this race and we've got some big aspirations for him in mind for the next 10 days. So he'll get back off the speed we'd expect, and he's the kind of horse that the more you get into chase, the better he tends to go. So I'm very excited about seeing both of them. I think they're both very, very capable of winning the race, and it's a long-winded answer to your question, but they're hard to split.
Jason, I know he shouldn't be given what he's been able to achieve in the barn, but Tentaris's sire, a Street Boss, hasn't he been a marvel?
Yeah, he's the most magnificent horse and influence on our racing and breeding program. Sire of Animo, who will carry his legacy forward, but I've got no doubt about that. Street Boss will show up in the pedigrees of a lot of top-class racehorses in Australia for many, many years to come. Got his other son there, recently retired to stud in Traffic Warden. As you say, Tentaris, who we're very, very hopeful will be standing in a barn when he ultimately finishes his career. And he's a sire attempted who ran so well for us in the Everest. So behind them as well, I'm fortunate enough to know what's in our system coming in the yearling and weanling foal crops rather. And Street Boss has just been the most magnificent contributor for our program.
You must have been very proud with what Tempted was able to do.
Yeah, very. She's obviously very high class, and she's had 3 very big performances this time. I think she lost nothing in defeat behind Baywalk in the Golden Rose, just struck one, having a world-class performance there on the day. And I know Kieran felt that having put up such a big run in the Run to the Rose that he would have preferred she had a bit longer between runs. But again, that's where they fall in the calendar. So we were compelled to run, and beautifully handled by that team. And it was great to see her come out and run right up to her best behind a world champion sprinter. And it just, you can't help but be hugely excited for what the next 12 to 24 months might hold in store with her.
Jason, I know it's been a significant shift with James deciding to go public and head to Hong Kong, but the success Godolphin is having with a variety of trainers, has it exceeded expectations?
It's certainly what we were hoping for when we made the change, and when we allocate a large number of horses, about 230 horses allocated between 9 trainers. And I think we were certainly hopeful that we had some high quality stock in the program, and we were confident that we did. So it was a question of placing them to advantage in terms of trainers, and then obviously placing them to advantage in terms of the races that we set them for. So a weekend like the one we've just had, having 3 high class colts all win stakes races, and Attica a maiden Group 1 victory. I mean, that's ultimately a key aspiration for our organisation, and we're very pleased with how it's going so far.
Where next to for Pericles?
So Pericles at this stage is likely to take in the Champions Mile next on Saturday week. He's still in Sydney, and Björn's happy with him. He's having a great preparation with it, out winning after his first up tramway win. He was excellent in the Epsom, and again in the King Charles. I think that's as good as I've ever seen him run. To hit the front against horses of that calibre. So he's in great shape. As I say, Champions Mile, and then we'll take a decision on whether we bring him west to see you guys.
All right, he's the only one that's likely to come west?
Yeah, it looks that way. And, he's a very versatile horse, so whether he takes in a railway or or a Northerly or even a Gold Rush, they're all in consideration, and we'll get through Saturday week first anyway. That's our inclination at the moment, is he'll run there, and then we'll take a view on what's ahead of him.
What's it like dealing with Bjorn from a week-to-week basis as opposed to James, Jason?
It's different.
Surely you jest.
No, he's a great trainer and a very driven guy.
Yeah.
His service for us has been outstanding, and for all of the great showman that he is, and you see on television, there's a fierce competitor in there, and we're really enjoying working with him. And as I say, he's got Pericles going as well as ever. So I know you guys know him very well over there in the West. He's had great success, and we talked about that being a possibility when Pericles was sent to him. So hopefully we can pull that off.
Yeah, if that does happen and you do make the trip over, Jason, just bring the energy on Railway Day if Bjorn's there with you, because from previous experiences he certainly does. Thank you very much for your time, and all the best on Saturday especially.
Thanks very much, guys. You're very welcome.
There's Jason Walsh from Godolphin, and could be a really